I'm the Real Ontario Farm Reporter, and today I'm going to be talking to you about farm waste management. As you look around, right now we are in a tie stall barn, but this is not how all barns work. In a freestall barn, there's tiled floors below that have special holes where the waste falls through into the pit below, put into a spreader, and spread into the field later on when needed. But in this barn, it's a little bit different. If you look along the sides, there's automated gutters. So the cows put their waste into this gutter so it can get carried out of the barn. But as you look at the cows, some of them, you may notice that some of them have a string on their tail. The string on the tail makes sure when the cow lays down, like this cow down here, it holds the tail up out of the gutter so they don't get too dirty. If you take a look at this cow here, he broke his string and is going to need a new one, and his tail is pretty dirty, so it keeps it a little bit better if they have a string. If you look above the back, they also have a chrome piece that hangs above the back, which has a little bit of voltage that goes through it. So when the cow goes to the bathroom, they arch their back. This kind of gives them a little bit of prompt to move back and go into the gutter rather than go all over where they sleep. It keeps them a little bit cleaner, and it also makes a little less labor for the farmer. As you can see, there is an odd accident and that you do have to go through and clean it, but it's a lot less cleanup by having the pieces there. So if we follow the gutters, it'll take us to a special machine, and I'll show you how that works. So this machine here is used to carry the manure from the automated gutter out into the manure pit. So if I press the green button to turn it on, if you take a look, it carries all the waste up and out of the gutter. As you can see, it's kind of built like a ladder, so each step pushes a small amount of manure, so it's not too much work. Each step only needs a little bit. There's a special piece that slides along each level to make sure that it's clean and pushes all the waste off into a pile. And before the pile gets too big, we want to turn on our next set of gutters. So this set of gutters here makes sure that all the waste makes it outside into the manure pile. If you take a look out the door here, you can see another machine like the one I just showed you at the top of the gutter to make sure that it all falls down into the manure pile below. So out here we are lucky because today the manure spreader was cleaned a bit, so it's not as dirty as a normal manure spreader would look. But in here is where a farmer would pile up all his manure when he's ready to use it during the crop season. So as you can see, there's blades at the back, and these blades are used to spread the manure as evenly as possible across this field. As there's many acres, they need to have big equipment, so the size is always a plus. This is another view of how the mechanism works. It's a bit dark, so it might be a silhouette, but as you can see, it works exactly the same. You can see the levels going around, and the manure falls down into the manure pile. So as we head out to the field, this is where all the manure ends up. Now, as we know, farms, as I said in the video before, work in cycles. The dairy cycle works with the calves, which turn into older heifers who are bred to make more calves, and once they make new calves, they can give milk. So, and then the young calves are going to grow up and give milk as well. So it's all a big cycle to go through, as with the crops. So this year has been a little bit crummy for rain, and we haven't had a very good rain season this year. But a lot of agricultural professionals have been saying that our corn crop this year has been fairly good and is actually a little bit above average. So that's actually surprising considering Ontario's weather this year. So, since we were talking about cycles, a lot of people don't understand where the corn goes after. A lot of people just think it's all for human consumption, but actually it's more for the farm use, and I'm going to show you how that farm use works in the barn. So as we head out the back door here, a lot of people will see these driving by farms. These are a large containment unit called a silo. A farmer uses these to hold grain, haylage, corn, whatever really they're going to be feeding their livestock, and the stuff that comes off their fields. And all the stuff from in there is pushed down into these pipes here. As you can see, when I reach in here, I come out with a handful of corn. So this is the corn piping. As you look around, there's tons of different pipes. So the cows get a mix of different things, haylage, minerals, lots of different good things for them to create the best milk possible for you guys. So if you take a look in this big red bin here, this is where all the food is mixed around. And once it's done inside the red bin and all mixed together, it heads up this blue conveyor belt here. Every farm setup is different, so not all farms are going to look like this and use these mechanisms. There's many different types out there. There's different for different farms. If you're going to a pig farm versus a sheep farm, everything's different. So this farmer decided to use an automated animal feeder, so it carries out all the feed out to the cattle. If you look inside here, it's hard to see because it's fairly dark, but it works a lot like the manure spreader. So there are blades at the back that push the feed, and there, as you can see, there's chains along the side, so it works like a conveyor belt. It pushes everything to the end and out the auger out the bottom, so the auger pushes everything out as easy as possible. So if we take a walk out here, you're going to see on each side that the feeder would drive down here and be pushed out the auger and put into a pile along here for the cows to be eating. Now, if I show you what the feed looks like after the process of being put through the feed mixer and stuff, as you can see, this is what a whole corn kernel would look like. And then this is the end product. So as you can see, I cannot see any whole corn kernels in there. And that is because a cow actually finds it very difficult to digest full corn kernels, let alone corn at all. So what the farmer does is they will break it down into smaller pieces so that the corn can be easier digested by the cow. So it will give you better milk because the cow is going to be getting more nutrients to be taking in and putting into the milk. So that completes the cycle of farm waste management. So if anybody has any questions about farm waste management or anything else agriculture, I am more than happy to answer your questions. Just go to realontariofarmer.ca and you can leave a question on our Facebook, our Twitter, our YouTube, and I will be more than happy to answer it in a video, in a blog, in whatever way you need. So thank you for watching, and I hope to be talking to you soon.